You a Jeopardy follower?
No.
Okay, well, James Holzhauer, the Jeopardy champ, the all-time champ, says this. He, of course, is a sports gambler. I would say the big thing to avoid is to look away from the teams that have all the hype surrounding them. I can't believe we live in a world where the Cleveland Browns are the most hyped team in the preseason, but I would say they're probably the single worst bet to win the Super Bowl right now. All right, put yourself in his shoes. What do you mean by that? And then go the other way with it. Because I know you predicted 15-1 or something like that.
That is crazy. I've predicted 12-4.
Oh, come on.
Bud Shaw is getting in your ear and overselling my prediction. 12-4 is very reasonable.
I thought I heard 13-3, but
that's
okay. That's okay.
What that guy's saying is, like, with the odds they have, they're the worst bet because they've been bet down. I think there might be the fifth lowest odds to win the Super Bowl. So I do not think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl next year. So, like,
why? Because they have no experience in most places.
Because they have. I think they have to get in the playoffs, win a playoff game, get into a situation where you're going to build up a little tolerance for this kind of thing. But these guys have not. Even the guys they got have barely played in the playoffs. Olivier-Vernon and Odell-Beckham Jr. None of these guys have won a playoff game. Sheldon-Richardson. None of these guys have playoff experience.
They're just names right now, basically. Good names.
They're better than names. They're good players. They're good. They're just inexperienced in the most important situations. So
is that applicable as much now as it might have been 10 years ago in the NFL?
I think it still matters some. I think the weird thing that is happening with the Browns is I think if you look at the Browns and say, this roster does not have very much playoff experience, I think that's a very valid thing to say, right? I think if you look at the roster and say, this roster is the Browns, which I still think some people are doing, and some national people and too many people, there's a lot of buzz. But if your reasoning for thinking the Browns can't do it is because they are the Browns, I don't want to hear that. That's silly.
No, that's absurd.
But so you're caught up on the past of the Browns. If you're caught up on the resumes of a roster that basically has never been to the playoffs before, and Freddie-Kitchens is a first-year coach, I get it. So I would not bet the Super Bowl, but I think the number on like their regular season wins is like 9.5 or 10.
You'd go
9
over.
or 10. Hammer the over.
Hammer. Not just go over. You want to hammer the
hammer. I have no money.
But if you had it,
hammer it.
Hammer it. All right. So does it bother you that two of the linebacker positions might be rookies?
I don't think it will be. I just wrote about Joe-Schobert and Christian-Kirksey on Sunday. I think there's a lot of reasons to be excited about Sione-Takitaki and Mack-Wilson, and I get it. And I think Adarius-Taylor is probably going to be the third linebacker. They're going to play two linebackers almost all the time. Steve Wilkes loves playing a third safety, or they'll have a third corner in there. It's only going to be two linebackers. There's so much new that I think it's easy to sort of overlook Schobert and Kirksey. When they're healthy, I think they're good. And I think if they're healthy and together, they'll be fine. I think Takitaki's a comer, and he's going to have a good career here. But I don't think it has to be this year that it will be this year. I'm more worried about the offensive line, but I'm good at linebacker.
216